This is Mehdi Hasan. So Hotez went on Mehdi Hasan's show to explain why he would not debate RFK Jr.
It's sad because I said I'm so fed up with the debate me, because it's not really about the debate. If it was about finding out information, as you said, you've already written about vaccines and autism. You've already spoken and written about COVID vaccines. I think you've been on MSNBC and other channels hundreds of times since the start of the pandemic. People can hear your views and the evidence you bring to this. So they're not actually interested in evidence. And it saddens me that you're a man who basically has saved lives abroad with the vaccines you've developed, whereas RFK has contributed to a culture, a vaccine misinformation culture, that has led to the deaths, as you say, of hundreds of thousands of lives, and yet he's the one being celebrated by tech billionaires like Musk and Jack Dorsey, while you're being smeared and defamed. And I would say, I don't know if you've agreed to debate or not. My advice is not to, and people might find that surprising because I wrote a book about debate, but I just think there's a time and a place for a debate. I don't think a historian of World War II should debate a Holocaust denier. I think that's my analogy here. Like, I don't think these debates between experts and cranks do anything other than elevate the cranks.
Well, you're absolutely right. I mean, there are certain things you debate. I understand what a debate about 18th century Enlightenment philosophy is, and debating Rousseau and Bishop Berkeley. I understand what political debates are. But in science, we don't typically do debates. What we do is we write scientific papers, we present our findings in front of a critical audience of our peers to solicit their input and suggestions. But one doesn't typically debate science, maybe the one-off discussion of evolution versus creationism and that sort of thing, but that's not what we do in science. And so that's problem number one. And problem number two is to debate with RFK Jr. I've discussed this issue with him many times by phone and by email, and the problem is, he just keeps on moving the goalposts. I mean, first it was the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine that caused autism. What's that?
Moving the goalposts is literally what conspiracy theorists do.
Well, I know. I mean, and so then it was, the thimerosal preservative in vaccine, then spacing vaccines too close together, then alumin vaccines. Then it was the HPV vaccine that they said caused infertility or autoimmunity. And then vaccines cause something called chronic illness. So you're always kind of playing this pyrrhic game of whack-a-mole. You knock something down and it pops up, or moving the goalposts. And it turns out it's very unproductive, and it's also pretty exhausting as well.
Exhausting, unproductive. It's disingenuous as well, and kind of ludicrous. I mean, Robert Kennedy Jr. is an environmental lawyer. I wouldn't expect him to debate me on environmental law, and I don't see why anyone would think that you would debate.
It's really bizarre. You can only talk to or debate people who are experts in a specific thing. You can't have debates with people who have fairly decent knowledge, to say the least, about certain things that may not be their pure area of expertise. Also, the way Mehdi Hasan, who is just such an awful propagandist at a giant network, the way he frames it, that RFK Jr. is the conspiracy theorist and the crank. Well, if that was true, and now that this thing had sort of become much bigger because of all the money that was offered to be thrown in, because of the way the whole internet was looking at it, maybe Hotez could be like, you know what, though, in this case, this thing does feel like it has like a seminal teaching moment, and I'll go in there and debunk some of the things he said. By the way, I did watch the entire segment, which is very painful to watch anything on MSNBC, like a full segment of it. At no point did they debunk anything that he said. Like, why wouldn't you just do what we do on this show every day? Think how easy it would be if the truth was on their side. Think how easy it would be for Hotez to do this literally from home, or Mehdi Hasan with his team, how they could just take clips like we take them, take the quote-unquote lies and conspiracy theorists and crank nonsense from RFK Jr., and then just show us the stats, show us the numbers, tell us the truth.